For every Olympic athlete with a multi-million-dollar endorsement deal, there are thousands you've never heard of who depend on smaller sponsors. In fact, the majority of U.S. track and field athletes live below the poverty line, forcing many to work part-time jobs on top of grueling full-time training. The problem is compounded by an obscure Olympic regulation called Rule 40, which prohibits athletes from even mentioning their sponsors during the Olympics, making those sponsorships less valuable and keeping athletes poor. As an advocate for athletes' rights, Brooks Running protested Rule 40 by using one of its own rules against it, the one that requires athletes to wear only official sponsor logos on their clothes, or wear generic, unbranded clothing with no logos at all. We created generic, violation-free sportswear to allow athletes to fight Rule 40 in a way that couldn't be censored by the International Olympic Committee. The apparel debuted at the Olympic trials and at Rule40.com. People from 135 countries joined the campaign by wearing the sportswear and visiting our social feeds for generic Rule 40 propaganda to help spread the word. During the Olympics, we also posted highlights of each day's action, using generic language like a certain American champion and quadrennial sporting event. As word spread, curiosity about who might be behind the intentionally unbranded campaign grew. Prior to the opening ceremonies in Rio, the press reported that it was indeed a Brooks Running initiative.
It's called Rule 40, and it restricts non-Olympic sponsors from doing much of anything to promote their sponsored Olympic athletes.
We call it the quadrennial sporting event south of the equator.
Brooks Running Company decided to do something about it. They created the Twitter account @Rule40 to parody just how ridiculous these rules are.
The campaign shined a spotlight on a problem that the International Olympic Committee would prefer to have kept in the dark, with one media outlet calling it the best and most important marketing campaign to come out of the Olympics. Through the Rule 40 campaign, Brooks will continue the fight for athletes' rights.